Welcome to ADHD Whiskey. My name is Matt. Today, 1 ounce Wednesday. I take a blind sample out of this box behind me, I pour it into a glass, and I review it. I'll nose it, I'll taste it, I'll swirl it, I'll critique the things that need critiquing, recommend tweaks for the thing that could use some tweaking, and then I'll score the whiskey of which we be speaking. But before we dive into today's blind pour, let me first tell you about today's video sponsor. Today's video is brought to us by our great friends over at ZBiotics. ZBiotics, the world's very first pre-alcohol probiotic drink. What in Bertha's broom closet is a pre-alcohol probiotic drink, Matt? Super happy you asked. A pre-alcohol probiotic drink is a drink you drink before drinking. And it's tiny. Look it. All you gotta do is take a ZBiotics like this and give it a good shake. Then you drink it down before you start drinking alcohol. And as long as you drink responsibly, stay hydrated, and get a decent night's sleep, the next day after drinking, you'll feel like 7 hues of happiness. ZBiotics will take the icks out of your next morning. Apparently, research has shown that a toxic byproduct from alcohol builds up in the gut before it gets to your liver. ZBiotics produces an enzyme for the gut that starts to break down that toxic byproduct in the gut before it gets to the liver, so that you're able to enjoy tomorrow. A bit of skepticism in your eyes, I see. That's all right. ZBiotics has a 100% money back guarantee. Click on my link in the description below or scan this QR code on the screen. Head on over to zbiotics.com/ADHD. Use code ADHD at checkout and you'll save 15% off your first order of ZBiotics. ZBiotics will take the I out of I am never drinking again. Whew. Got one. America. Hiding it so carefully. Nobody knows what it is, not even you. You gotta wait till later. Swirling it in a glass so fast. This, by the way, is a whiskey glass, crystal footed Scotch tasting glass. Color on this whiskey is what I would consider to be relatively thoughtful. If this were a book, I would find it in the nonfiction section, maybe under recent history, possibly the last 10 years or so. Now let's go in for a nose. Wow. All right. That made all the chest hairs on my chest do a funny frizzy dance. That nose is not what I was expecting. Whatever this is out of the ordinary for what I would typically review on the channel. American whiskeys, bourbon, rye, you know, that sort of thing. Wow. Wow. Whew. Auntie Kendra's husband Kenny, that smells like a malted beverage. This smells like something of a high malt variety, possibly a single malt, possibly not from the United States of America. If it is from the United States of America, it's from a place that specializes in not making my favorite whiskey. But a lot of crazy people do enjoy this whiskey over bourbons and ryes, and not to your surprise, it's not me. This is very bright and citrus fruity. It's very lemony. It smells like one of those lemon juice things you get. They look like a lemon, but they're plastic. And then you open the cap and you just squirt it. Very lemony. A bit of salt as well. Lemony and salty. It almost smells like the rim of a margarita. 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 Hey, margarita. It is a bright, shiny nose. Not a lot of dark character in here. Not a lot of depth or like dark fruits or oak, but more like bright, lemony, salty, grapefruity. It's unconventional, but I suppose I'll drink it. 1 ounce Wednesday, down the hatch. Wow. Oh, I love that. Oh, that's so good. Oh, pour me another. How much for the whole bottle? That's a puckerer. That tastes like an alcoholic Sour Patch Kid. Like if you turned that one guy from the local bar who never leaves into a Sour Patch Kid. The guy wearing the coveralls and the greasy Carhartt hat. Sour Patch Pete. Now that I've got past the initial hazing of this whiskey, I will continue my pledge and go for a second sip. A match. Wow, that's like if a caramel apple sucker just disrobed and went skinny dipping in a pool of apple cider vinegar. And then you licked it. And you licked it. I would say that this pour is complex. It definitely shifts gears a little bit, twists and turns. Not necessarily the most enjoyable ride for me, but I could see how people could like it. Third sip, then we give it a score and reveal the pour. Number 3, here we go. Wow, I do appreciate the pucker. Don't get it twisted. I don't like it. But on the other hand, friggin' kinda love it. Weirdly. This isn't something that I would drink every day, or maybe ever again. But knowing that this exists isn't necessarily the worst thing on the planet. Would I like to share this pour with a bunch of bourbon drinkers just so we can all see each other's face? Yeah. Do I feel like this is a cheap whiskey? No. I feel like this is some sort of single malt, possibly a finished single malt maybe a single malt that found out that its lover has been sleeping with its mother or stepmother and is extremely bitter about it because it comes off in the taste. It's a bit of a bitter bugger, which you would be too if you found out that someone was loving your mother, someone you loved. So maybe that's what's going on here. I don't know. But I will say that today on 1 Ounce Wednesday, I give this extra bitter pour extra bitter score of, I kind of dig it, I kind of hate it. It's one of those things where it's like, depending on the day. You know, was I in the mood for a bourbon? Sure. Did I get that? No. What were we drinking? We were drinking. Shla-la-la-la-la, shla-la-la-la-la, shla-la-la-la-la. Aha, okie dokie. This is from Thrasher, Crowded Barrel Alliance Series Balcones Distilling. What is that? Crowded Barrel is the whiskey tribe. This is the very first ever Crowded Barrel sample I've tried. Alliance Series, just based off of the name, they were probably joining hands, teaming up with Balcones from Texas. You know, they must have worked together on this. That is a wild pour. A friggin', that's a roller coaster sour ride of like, wow. Thank you so much, Thrasher, you friggin' gangster, you OG, you son of a bee. I know that there are more Crowded Barrel samples in this box, a couple or so. When will we get to them, we will never know. Some of these samples have been sitting in this box for so long, but they get poured when they get pulled. And that's what makes 1 Ounce Wednesday so fun. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed. Leave a comment down below. Have you had any Crowded Barrel stuff? What did you think? You love it? You hate it? Is it just not your jam? Is it totally your jam? And if you do enjoy some of their stuff, tell me, what is your favorite Crowded Barrel pour? What should I try? What should I seek out from Crowded Barrel? Thank you so much for watching again. My name is Matt. This is ADHD Whiskey. Like I always say, keep your head in the clouds, but your mind on decrowding your brain, because so much stuff happening in there. I told you about my cluttered home and my cluttered garage, but that's not even the beginning. My brain, it's a cluttered mess. So much happening in there. So much happening. Some stuff I can control, some stuff I can't. But if you could take a look inside this head, you would be like, oh brother, there's nowhere to walk. There's nowhere. How do you even have room to make eggs? Where is your garbage can? Because everything here needs to go in that instead of on the floor of your brain. Sounds like someone needs a mental health day. And I'm gonna take it, so there. Goodbye, good night, bye everybody. See you next time, it's gonna be good.